Alright, let's give Sunday's Daily Puzzle on chess.com a shot. This one's called Unlikely Hero. It's black to move. Give the video pause and try it yourself if you feel like it. Cool. So I've got a check here and a check here. I think those are my only two checks, and I think they both get taken pretty easily. But they are checks. The king is pretty trapped over here. And the fact that this diagonal is open might be interesting. My rook seems kind of worthless right now, which is tough. I feel like this check would give my rook some mobility. My knights kind of feel like they could get threatening. My king is in a precarious position. It's made the journey all the way across the board. So I'm down in exchange. Is that what's going on here? I've got an extra knight, but I'm down a rook. I'm also down a few pawns, I guess. A couple pawns. 5 to 3 pawns. Okay. Alright. If I were to go here... Oh, wow. Okay. So this maybe is interesting. I'm thinking about opening up this line to get... and then trying to get my rook over. So if I can sacrifice both of these pieces, give the two checks that I have in the position, things might get interesting. Okay. So if I go here, the pawn has to take that. Because I'm checking the king, and the king's only move would be there, and then this would be mate. And then when the pawn takes, now the king is a little more exposed. But it also kind of can escape in this direction. Alright, so I was thinking here takes here. The king has 2 moves, but my rook would be able to slide over. The pawn could also take, or the knight could take. All those things could happen. But I should have a check. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe not. Check takes... Check. Let's just say the pawn takes. Rook here. Yeah, this is still like a major threat. Because if the king goes here, then I go here, and that's mate. I think this is actually a super threatening line. Okay, this is forced. Pawn takes there. Check. I think the king has to move. Because if either one of these two pieces takes that, I just slide my rook over, and then the king has a lid on it. And the king only has 1 move. It's here, and then this is checkmate. So I think what has to happen is that after this takes here, the king has to go here, or maybe here. Either one of those moves probably works, because I no longer have a check here if the king goes to the corner. But if the king goes to the corner, I have this, and then the king will be drawn out here. So I think I can get the king to this square, and then check it with the rook. Oh, and that would be mate, because the knight has this. I think that's checkmate. So check takes, check. If the pawn or the knight take, I swing my rook over, and that's mate. It's mate in 2. So the king has to move to one of these 2 squares. If the king goes here, I hop my knight in. The king has to go to one of these 2 squares, and then rook here is mate. Alternatively, check takes, check. If the king moves here immediately, I check with the rook. Okay, this is the longer line, for sure. The king goes here, check. King goes here. Oh, I'm running out of steam here. I don't see it. This has got to be this has got to be the line, though. I mean, if these first few moves, this is such a forcing line. This has got to be. Was that really? Oh man, I love that line. I couldn't find the mate. There was one line that didn't work. That sucks. I was also surprised that the puzzle was named Unlikely Hero. I really thought this was working. But it didn't seem like an unlikely hero here. I thought this was sort of a, I don't know. It's that first, and now this. Oh man, I probably could have thought about this for another second, because this wasn't working. And oh, now it's just mate? Wait. Okay, so why would this be forcing? Why would this be more forcing? Oh, man, I had the line. Oh. Just got to be a little more thorough. Okay. Why do I do that first? So I do this first. Oh, because I'm forcing one of those 2 pieces to take, because the king doesn't have this move. So, yeah, that makes way more sense. Oh, my. I should have just thought about this for a second. All right, let's run it back. Cool, so honestly, not the hardest puzzle I've ever seen on a Sunday. I almost had this. I thought I had it. I only have 2 checks in the puzzle. They're this one and this one. And I noticed that if I give the combination of those 2 checks and these pieces take, then some lanes free up for my rook and my knight's hopping in, and it looked really nasty. So I was thinking I could go here, and the pawn absolutely has to take that, because if it doesn't, the king only has one move, and I have this checkmate right here. So I saw that the pawn had to take, and then I was like, oh, well, I can give this check, and then if either one of these two pieces take, I can slide my rook over, and that's going to be checkmate. Except for one line. There's one line that doesn't work. If I go here and then here, the king can just kind of run out and end up down here, and I'm not going to be able to make a checkmate happen. The point is to give this check first, because one of these two pieces absolutely has to take in this circumstance. The king can't move, because if it moves, it only has one move, and then I checkmate it. So I sack the bishop first, opening up this line, and then I give this check with the knight. And again, pawn has to take, because I would have had checkmate if it hadn't. And then I just go here, and now it's a forced checkmate. So I just got the order of the first two moves wrong, but I was right there. Should have gotten this one right. Not the hardest Sunday I've ever seen, but still a tricky line. There it is. Thanks for watching. Catch you later.